So I've grown scared of my own shadow, though he's there.
Hi, who's ready? Jesus Christ, get this phone charged. Get this motherfucker started. All right. Got one person in, so we'll go ahead and get this bitch started. So, let me go ahead and put some shit up in the live. Let niggas know we going live so people can appreciate this greatness that's about to go down. I'm about to save your lives. I'm gonna save a lot of lives. See, the problem is, thank you. Perfect Sage, baby. Niggas understand. I'm gonna save you a lot of time and heartache and prevent you from doing some dumb shit that's gonna fucking ruin you because I see the mistakes. I see it. See, most of you people don't see the mistakes. I see the mistakes because I am what you call an observationist. And see, when you observe and you watch and you look for patterns, what happens is you start to see things that most people don't see because most people live their life hour to hour and at best to the weekend. That's pretty much the average person's way that they just view life. And I can't relate to such a fucking reality because I have a thing where I give a fuck about my future. And because I give a fuck about my future, I actually pay attention to what's going on in life. And so one of the things I've been able to notice, and this is how you're going to prevent yourself from crashing out, is the first step is you got to start to actually look around you. Observe. I made a YouTube video about this. And shout out to Dirty Peach, whatever this fucking mixed drink is thing. Very delicious. And what I discovered was most people don't get punished for their mistakes. That's the very common thing within a crash out. So what I've been able to pick up on is that most people are not typically punished for bad things they fuck up on. When people make mistakes, life just kind of goes on. And what happens when that occurs over a period of time is it compounds. So say, for example, like our obesity rate within America. The average person would be like, well, people are just fat because of the design. No, it's not fat because of design. People are obese because there is no real punishment for being obese in America. You don't suffer any real consequences besides like you're kind of fat. So you could put on 10 pounds one year, put on 10 pounds the next year, put on another 10 pounds. And then next thing you know, a fucking decade later, you're 100 pounds overweight. And even then, you still haven't suffered consequences. And they made this worse with the work from home thing. When people got the ability to start working from home, what that allowed people to do was to not have to move. So now you are still getting fed. You are still rewarded for showing up to your desk, sitting down, being a fat, lazy fuck, and not suffering the true consequence of what reality will make you go through if you were truly a fat fuck. And what that back in the day, like in the ancient time, if you think about the biological evolution of humans, the consequence of being a fat fuck was you were too out of shape to go hunt. So if you weren't nobility and you were fat, you were going to suffer because you would not be able to make these long trips, these long walks, and be able to go about the fucking world as a fat dude. You would just suffer. People want to take you on missions. You would die in war because you couldn't fucking walk all the way. You have dire consequences for being a fat ass. So you had to be in shape to not suffer consequences. In America, you do not have to suffer consequences for being fat. In fact, we actually make the world, we handicap the world to help fat people out to be able to be useful society members through escalators, elevators, cars, dining, even the airplanes. Now we got fat people complaining about airplane seats. Fat people have now been saying that it's fat phobic for them to have these fucking small ass narrow seats on an airplane. But what they don't really factor in is that the airplane is designed to be able to fly at a certain capacity. So if you are a certain amount of weight, if you're too fat, you are fucking up everybody else's fucking survival. And that's what the crash out is. This is how the best way to avoid the crash out. This is step number 2. Step number 1 is you have to start to do things that you suffer consequences when you fuck up. So when I learned from construction, what I learned from doing handyman things is when I fuck up, when there's a mistake, I pay severely because now I have to go back and fix the mistake, then go back and do it properly. So you have to really start to think things through. If not, you're gonna have a cluster fucking problems. And every time you don't fix a fucking problem, it gets worse, progressively worse as you advance within the fucking whatever particular objective you're doing. Average human being doesn't suffer these consequences. They don't. The average human being suffers maybe 20% of the consequences of what they should for the fucking mistakes they fuck up on. And see, this is totally foreign to mankind universally. Like, this is a recent development where humans don't suffer consequences for bad shit. So what happens is the bad and stupid shit that you do over a time period, it begins to compound. It's kind of like debt. And you pay interest because that debt gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is why I talk about niggas crashing out with hoes. The reason most niggas crash out with hoes is they don't pay the initial cost up front. They wait. They might get married. They have the kids. They get the fucking car, all the other fuck shit. And then bam, bitch hits them with divorce. And then you crash out. Now niggas live in a 1-bedroom apartment at 50 when they're making prime money in their fucking career. That wasn't supposed to happen if you would have tested that chick way early. If you would have paid the cost up front, which is tell them the truth, you lying ass motherfuckers. Most of you guys don't tell the truth to women. I've been out here in the field. And what I learned being in the field is the average man lies to his woman about 90% of the time. And only sometime, maybe when he gets drunk or it slips out, he might tell the truth. But outside of that, he don't ever tell the truth because he's scared of losing the pussy. Most niggas are so scared of losing pussy. I don't think you guys understand the level of niggas that are scared of losing pussy. And see, one of the things that you need to learn, well, that's a separate topic for another day. We'll get more about losing the pussy on another topic. I have to do a whole relationship fucking dynamic thing. But back to the crash out. If you're not suffering consequences for your actions, then you're going to be in deep shit. Deep shit. Because as the world gets progressively harder, all those poor choices you made are going to start to come back and bite you in the ass. So that fucking mortgage you got for a house that you really couldn't afford, but you had this high-paying job that you were depending on, you were making $120,000 doing fucking tech shit, basically sending emails to people. They cut that fucking job. Guess what? How are you going to pay that mortgage now? See, you weren't thinking long-term. You didn't think, what happens if I got fired? You just thought, oh, shit, I'm making $120K a fucking year. Fuck, nigga. I'm that nigga now. I'm going to go buy me a Tesla, a mortgage car, go get me a fine-ass girl, and life is just going to be beautiful. But you weren't paying attention to the trends of what were going on of all these tech layoffs. See, and that's what fucks a lot of people in this crash out shit. A lot of y'all are not paying attention to fucking trends. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I crashed out like 2 years ago doing some fucking thing trying to help my boy get a car, doing it, starting to go fund me. I crashed out. And I learned from that lesson, like, okay, the internet's not really real. Like, don't go ask people on the internet for money to get your boy a car. It's not the smartest decision. That's probably not the smartest thing to do. And so I learned very early on, be a little bit more calm and understand you're going to build slowly over time and build your own power and wealth. But most people don't learn these lessons because a lot of people are cowards. So what they do is they take little small micro steps every day. See, I'm a fucking extremist to some degree. Like, I do everything to the most maximum extreme. If I feel something in my gut, I do the most primal action that's fucking available to me. And has it fucked me in some degrees? Yeah. But it also has saved me a lot of fucking trouble in the back end because I deal with most of the bullshit on the front end. That's why I do so horrible with women in today's age. Well, I'm not gonna say I do horrible. I just don't lie to girls. And I test them immediately. Like, as hardcore as you could test a woman in the very beginning, that's my fucking game. Because I'm trying to disqualify immediately. Because I understand the fucking bullshit that you're going to face on the back end if you don't disqualify immediately. A lot of you niggas are, like I said, a lot of niggas, in the crash out, most of it has to do with pussy. Like, the grand majority of guys that crash out have to be with pussy. Here's why. It's because you watch porn all day? That's not because I watch porn all day. I watch porn just before I go to bed. But that's besides the point. You can't crash out over porn. Like, niggas that crash out on porn, I don't understand. How? Like, nigga, I'll tell you right now, nigga, I'll beat my meat fucking 4 times a day and still lap you niggas and everything else. Makes no difference to me. How am I gonna be defeated by a fucking screen? Are you crazy? Like, you niggas are losing out. Like, I don't understand. Niggas who ruin their life over porn, I don't understand that fucking logic. I'd rather expose myself to stimuli and then deal with the consequences and then figure out how to adapt. That's my game. Put me in the most stressful fucking situation that you could put me in, and I'll figure out how to adapt in that bitch. So the more fucking turmoil I can deal with, the easier life gets because nothing else is hard. And that's one of the things I'm learning, but that's besides the point, the fucking important thing. A lot of you niggas, I'd rather you crash. And here's the thing: I have a principle when it comes to porn. You only have 3 options or 4 options in this game when it comes to sexual relationships with women. 1, do it the right way, like a fucking man. Take that woman as a wife or pay for an escort. That's really the only options you have in this fucking life. All this fucking dating nonsense is hoopla. It's not realistic. In reality, she's either going to be your wife or she's an escort. That's the only way the fucking game works. And most of you niggas are dealing with escorts. You don't want to admit it, that the bitch don't really like you. And that's okay. That's okay if a bitch don't really like you. But a lot of you motherfuckers, your ego. And this is the other thing with the crash out. The crash out is directly related to your ego. The larger your ego, the worse the crash out. And this is why you see pro athletes crash out in such the fucking variance that they do. Like, why do you think think about John Morant. I love using him as an example because why else when a man who just got in trouble for a fucking firearm and going to strip club, his homies are walking around pulling guns on the people in the stadium, in the arena. He's pulling guns out in strip clubs, pulling guns out on Instagram Live. Would that man be doing that if he was making $20 an hour? Probably not. But his ego is so fucking large. He really believes he's untouchable in reality. He really thinks like, I'm untouchable. I'm fucking Jay Morant. Who can touch me, nigga? I'm the real nigga. I'm a hooping guy who puts a ball in a basketball hoop. He thinks that has value within reality, which it does not. No, you don't need a big ego. What you need is fucking heart. Your ego fucks you up every time. That's what guys don't understand. The ego does nothing for you as a man. The ego is part of like this fake reality because the only way you can have a large ego, the only way your ego can get really, 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 really big is if you done a bunch of hard shit and survived a bunch of fucking crazy shit in your life and you got through it, then your ego can be a certain size. And that's not going to come late to your 40s and 50s when you start feeling like the fucking man. Like, you should not feel like the man in your 20s. I don't know what the fuck people like. That's fake. It's a false reality because you haven't met a real big dog yet. You're still competing with the 20-year-olds. The only way that your ego gets larger is if you start to grow as a man through hardship. But here's the thing. It's like the ego is suppressed by the challenges that you know that will come. Because if you're truly a thinker, you know I got to throw ego away because my ego does nothing for me. My ego is fucking, it's a thing that helps you fucking, like, it's like a tool. It's like steroids for your mental. Your ego is only supposed to be taken out in certain dire situations when you need that fucking, fuck it, I need to go, man. I can get this nigga. Like, I know I can do it. That's the only time you're supposed to pull your ego out. Your ego should not be being pulled out just all the time. You shouldn't just walk around a fucking big-ass bravado. You look retarded. And women sniff that shit. Women love a nigga with big ego. You know why? Because they know that they can fucking get you. So you know what women look at the most, who they don't want to fuck with the most? A guy who is logical, sane, and has a little bit of humbleness and what's the word? I'll think of the word later. But women don't want to deal with a nigga who knows he's the shit, but he's very weary about it because he's always thinking like, okay, am I really that guy? Like, that's the guy that fucking runs shit. The guy who's always questioning himself. The ego allows you not to question yourself. When you don't question yourself, that's when you end up in fucking shitty ass situations in life. I'm telling you right now, you end up in terrible situations if you're not questioning, why am I doing this? What's the results going to be if I do? What's the results if this goes bad? And what's the results if this doesn't go bad? Most guys eliminate that fucking thing of what happens, why am I doing this? And what happens if this goes bad? Most guys are just operating on, it's going to go good. I'm going to start this fucking popsicle business because fucking I love popsicles and bitches like popsicles, so it's going to work. They don't think about the logistics of the popsicle game. They simply just think, oh, well, I'm going to sell popsicles and fuck what you think, nigga. You know what you're talking about. You broke. I heard from Andrew Tate that if I sell popsicles, nigga, I'll be the real nigga. And that's where most niggas are getting caught. Most niggas get got because the ego lets them get them, and the ego is the biggest part of the crash out. Like that job that's paying you fucking $160,000 a year, you start getting an ego. Like you know why most of the tech guys or tech bros are gonna fucking fall off? Their ego, because they really think they're worth $160,000 for fucking being on the computer typing in code. And they can't fathom the idea that there's a fucking AI thing that can just replace them. They don't think that's possible. And then when they look to go get other jobs, a job might say, look, man, like you're good, but we'll pay you fucking 60K. 60K? Suck my dick. I'm worth $120,000. I did a job at Google, despite not knowing Google is using you as a tax write-off. And this is where guys fucking fail. Drop the ego, guys. Work whatever job you need to work. Be humble. And actually really put the work in. And it's the thing. You got to start from the ground up. And this is the benefit of the crash out. And this is why you have to like kind of crash out. You have to kill that ego in your early 20s. And that's why I say construction, doing hard shit kills your ego. Because you instantly go in there and you're with guys who know what the fuck they're doing. And you're in there green as shit. You can't fake it. You can't walk into a fucking construction yard and start calling out orders and shit to motherfuckers who've been doing it for 20 years. The only thing you're helpless when you go in there. The only thing you can do is, hey, what can I do to help you out? Gambling does not make you fucking a big boy mission. Big boy mission it's a long game of building. And like my other advice for how to not crash out is you have to, the longer your timeline for your goals, and I got this from a good phone call from one of my homies. The longer your timeline for your goals and achievements, the less likely you are going to crash out because you have something way far off in the distance and you got to keep staying grounded, keep walking and working your way to these things. The big problem with a lot of guys is their plans are only for a year. Yeah, in a year, bro, I'm going to get this fucking SE or fuck, I'm going to get in sales. I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. The mission's not big enough because what happens once you get to that fucking goal? Well, I'm just going to make up another goal. No, it doesn't work that way. You're going to get to that point and you're going to celebrate and then you're going to be lost because you're going to reap the spoils. Because here's the thing. You can have a year-long plan and you're going to get a lot of spoils because, like I said, the average person only thinks about the next weekend. That's as far as they go. Maybe the next hour. They think about day to day. They don't think even weeks. They don't even think months. And so if you're thinking a year, yeah, that's good. But the people who become truly wealthy and truly powerful in this life, they're thinking on like a 20, 40, 50 years timeline. Like I'm thinking on a fucking I'm thinking past my death. My goals and everything are set out for 20 years after I die. I have a fucking plan out for that. And that keeps me grounded because I know there's so much to fucking do. I can't fuck off. I can't bullshit because I know I have a fucking 80-year to 100-year plan of how I'm going to fucking run this game. And see, that's the problem. Most guys, they get the job, and like I said, they go to. This is why our society is built for people to crash out. This is why you see so many guys that are 40 with the midlife crisis. This is why you see bitches are losing their mind, especially bitches. Like you guys understand, women are natural crash out artists. That's their fucking game. And this is why I'm saying you got to be weary of hoes because these girls are looking for a crash out partner. They're looking to take somebody down with them, and if they can't take their girlfriends down, they're going to take you down. Exactly. Immigrants come over to this country with a fucking 3-generation plan. We're going to fucking do this for the next 3 years. So I'm going to come over here, work my ass as a laborer, buy a gas station, and then I'm going to have a kid. My kid's going to work at the gas station. We're all going to live in the same house. And then the next generation, we're going to probably raise some doctors. We're going to raise a lawyer. We're going to raise blah, blah, blah. They're going to live in the house. We're all going to combine our income. And within 2 or 3 generations, we'll be multi-millionaires in this fucking country. And see, the average American, like I said, they don't deal with the real consequences of fucking reality. They're living in La La Land. They're living in Disneyland. Like even the average guy, if you got like one of the things I almost hate to tell guys is you don't need to have, yeah, they already have the plans for the set. Yeah. And see, I'm mixed on it. Having plans for your kids already. But part of it is like, yeah, the Pajites are the fucking master at that shit. Pajites and Asians. And Mexicans do it like on a lower level with like the construction game. But Pajites and Asians come to this country with a mission, nigga. A fucking mission. Yep. That's what I'm saying. Niggas don't understand. This game is long. Life is a long game. People tell you that bullshit like you're not gonna live forever, all this other fuck shit. They're lying to you. You're gonna live a long time if you don't die early. You're gonna live a long time. People don't understand how long 100 years is or 80 years. That's a long time. I think about this now. I'm 30. I'm 32. From fucking 22 to 32, that was long. Like, yeah, it went by, but it was long. I had a lot of fucking experiences within that time period. I was a teacher, a coach, all other types of shit. Tech guy, construction. I lived like 5, 6, 7, 8 lives already. Homeless, nice house, fucking roommates, living with a girlfriend, living with a girlfriend's friend, fucking a girlfriend's friend. There's a lot of shit that you go through in life, and you don't realize how long the game is until you kind of really stop and look back. And I look back at some of my journals just for the last like 3 or 4 years. Bro, so much shit. And so what I'm trying to tell people is your timeline for how you're navigating life is very crucial to not crashing out. Because like I said, the average guy, he finds his high school sweetheart, his college sweetheart, and he just says, fuck it. Tapping out. This is my bitch now. I'm game. And it's not that it's a problem, but he didn't really think about when I get married, this is for life. This is not for 5 years. This is not for 10 years. This is 20, 30, 40, 50 when we are both dead. And they don't have a plan. They don't have a plan past most guys when they get married, I can tell you this right now. Most guys when they get married, they don't have a plan past the second year. As far as they thought it was, put my dick in this girl. I love this girl now for some reason. And now I'm going to simply just live life with her and get married because that's the thing I'm supposed to do because people told me that's what I'm supposed to do. And that's the other thing. If you don't want to crash out, stop listening to what people are telling you to do. When you listen to what people tell you to do, you're going to be in a fucked up position because guess what? They're only taking the information you give them. They don't have the full scope of all the observations you have made, all the full equation. They're simply putting themselves in your shoes from the information you told us. And for the most part, when you tell people information, you don't give people the fucking full breakdown. You don't write a book and explain everything to somebody. So you take this advice, and when you take this advice to people, you end up getting a fucked up position because you didn't think past 6 months after what they told you to do. So a lot of you niggas got duped by 20, 21-year-old guys on fucking Twitter telling you, hey, quit your job, quit all that shit, start a fucking agency. And you start an agency 6 months down the line, now you don't got no fucking money. You're wondering what the fuck happened. It's hella cringe. This section of Twitter is one of the worst things that ever happened to young niggas. Because these young niggas, once again, they don't know what to do with power and influence. They're too young to understand power and influence. They only lived through high school. So you're taking advice from somebody who just got out of high school, maybe went to college. What does this person know about life? They really only been alive, because I don't even count your life until about 16, 17. Then life kind of starts. And then I don't even count you as like that's like, I count from like 16 to about 27, 25 as what's the word? I count that as like boot camp for life. Because you really don't know shit. And then when you hit about 27, now you're now a officer of life. And now you got to climb the ranks as you keep going further on in life. And most people don't understand that concept because they haven't lived long enough. I'm only 32, and I'm realizing, God damn, there's a lot to this fucking game. Like, I thought I knew the game, but I really don't. Like, I'm wise, but there's still experience in the game. And one of the things that I need people to start to understand is I look at people's brains like it's like a bowl. And so your bowl, like if anybody's ever taken ceramics, I took ceramics as a kid. Ceramics, what you do is like you get a piece of clay, you get a little spinning thing, and you fucking put your hands in that shit and you start to fucking roll around it and you do some shit. You make a bowl. And then you take that bowl, you put it into the oven, it heats up, and then now you have a fucking bowl. But here's the thing. During the molding period, if you didn't fucking make everything correctly, your bowl comes out fucked up. And then when it gets in the fire, that shit starts to crack. So I look at like from like 16 to like 25 as your molding period and putting your shit in the flame. And see what the problem is with a lot of guys is they don't understand. They get a bowl and then their bowl is like useful. No, it's not just tape though. It's not just tape. like Tate is like the upper edge. He's the Ric Flair of the shit. Like he's the most well known and the best to ever do the internet grifting shit. But it's like a universal thing of people faking it online. Like the internet is one of the greatest fucking what's the word? It is a fake niggas paradise. Because anybody can fucking be anybody on this shit. Like there's been so many things of people faking as other people on the internet, and they got away with it. They sold courses. People bought this shit because a lot of people don't think deeply in the shit. They say, "Why are you thinking that deep? It's just fucking the internet." Like I just trust them. And so one of the issues is, as people start to fucking taking this information and they get bamboozled because they haven't lived enough life to really understand how much experience you need to be able to make sure your bowl is full with water. And that's the next aspect. Once you created your bowl, once you created your foundation, now it's a matter of how can I collect the water and collect all the shit so I can be able to take my experience and be able to pour into others. And so what happens is a lot of guys get a full bowl, they walk around, they paint the bowl, they make a gloss cover, and the bowl looks dope. But when you look in the bowl, there ain't shit in there. And that's what Money Twitter did to a lot of niggas. Money Twitter did to a lot of niggas was they showed you this fucking beautiful bowl that's painted with all this shit, Ferraris, bitches, Versace robes, all types of crazy shit. But when you look into the bowl, there's nothing in there. They don't got any experience. They're just telling you shit that looks good on the outside. And most of you young niggas are not smart enough to understand what's real. And so you're seeing this because there's not a lot of real niggas on the internet because, once again, real niggas like me, we're busy on the fucking yard and mounting bitches' TVs all day. That's what I'm doing all day. And when I get bored and I want to try to figure out how to help the young people, I come to fucking YouTube. And so that's the big issue that we have in today's age is that we got a bunch of people who with no experience and very cool ass bowls telling you young niggas how to live life. And that's why most of you niggas are going to crash out because there's nobody in your life to tell you how to fucking navigate, how to fucking shake and maneuver. And then you look to women because you see women winning, hypothetically. And this, once again, we live in a China-centric civilization in the West where we promote women. And there's nothing wrong with it. But we promote women. We make women seem like they're this great deity. They're all great. They can all do this, all this shit. And guys start taking women's advice on shit. Let me tell you something. Anytime a woman advises you on anything, it's probably gonna be feminine. It's gonna take you down. It's gonna take you down a route that you probably don't need to be going down. And when you go down that route, you're eventually gonna fuck yourself. And that's what happens to so many guys. So many guys fall off because they start falling in love with women. They start listening to what they tell them to do, and then they end up in a shitty ass situation. They wonder where it went wrong. It went wrong because you started listening to chicks. Why are you listening to chicks all day? Like, really think about that self. What can a woman tell you about being a man? 99% of a woman's experience is her getting fucked by a man and maybe taken to a dinner. That's the average woman. That's what her experience is with a man for the most part. She gets fucked by a dude and the guy takes her to dinner and that's about it. And you're taking advice from these people. And it's not to say anything bad about women. There's a lot of great women in the world, but you should not be taking manhood advice from fucking chicks. You need to be around dudes. And you know the greatest thing that you can figure this out when being around dudes is when you think back to your playground days. Like most of you guys don't work in, and this is another fucking sad thing. The average man today's age doesn't work with nothing with all dudes. The average man today works in a fucking office, surrounded by chicks, and chicks always change the dynamics of a fucking office. They simply do because most guys don't have dick discipline. Most guys are trying to see how can I fuck this girl, and how can I fucking dirty Mac the other guy to make myself look better so I have a better opportunity to fuck this girl. And that's 99% of guys that you meet out there. Most guys don't have the discipline to say, hey, that's just a chick, whatever, man, fuck her. No, most guys are going to try to undercut you. They're going to try to put you in a bad situation, make you look bad, put you in line of life. And this is why we get in these fucking situations where most guys are failing at life because they're getting undercutted by guys trying to get pussy, and then they get undercutted by girls giving them bad advice because the chick doesn't even know. She's taking her advice from a dude. If you look at the top woman in life, she's trying to replicate a guy. Because at the end of the day, a woman's top Like, what makes a woman of an upper echelon woman is being a great mother and a great wife. That's at the end of the day, that's really what it is. She's judged upon how well did she create a family and how well did she mate with her husband and shit. So for you to, as a dude to be taking advice from women, it's going to lead you to some gynecology type fucking situation. Why do you want that in your life? Makes no logic. Makes zero logic. And so you need to be around guys. You need to be around guys who are telling you the fucking truth about yourself. And like I said, one of the last bastions of that fucking man fucking work, construction and war. That's all we got left right now. That's the only thing left for fucking dudes. Everything else has been fucking infiltrated by chicks. And so if you want to figure out, you got to figure out yourself in the hierarchy. You got to climb the ranks of a hierarchy. You got to go someplace where your work ethic and your intelligence is critical to a team's success. And that's really the easiest way to not crash out because you stay grounded in reality. You know where you sit on the fucking pecking order. It's like you got to take this. Like I'm telling you, life is no different than fucking the 5th, 6th grade on the playground. There's no difference. Like I remember all you guys when you used to go play dodgeball, play tackle football, basketball, soccer. You have this thing where we pick teams. So we have two captains, which are the 2 top dogs of the fucking playground, and then they'll line up everybody, and they'll say, "Okay, pick your teammates. I got that guy. I got that guy. I got that guy. I got that guy." And then if you were one of the last guys picked, you feel like shit. You know why you feel like shit? Because you should feel like shit. You're the last guy getting picked. Who wants to be the last guy getting picked? And so we lost that in America. Because they got rid of those red fucking big ass rubber balls in PE. When the day they took those out of the fucking the day they took out those big ass red rubber balls in PE was the day that manhood started to die in America. That was the ending of the shit. Because no longer was there severe consequences for you sucking at dodgeball. See, now they got these soft ass fucking, I don't know what these balls are. They have no fucking real bat. When I was a young man, when I was a young lad, we had these big rubber balls. And when they hit you, you felt that shit. So if you weren't paying attention, nigga, I was hitting you in the fucking dome piece. Fuck you. That's what you get for not paying attention. And see, most niggas are not paying attention in life because there's no red ball to hit your ass. You don't have to worry about getting hit by a red ball anymore. You can simply just walk around, oh, la-di-da, and you get hit by a soft-ass ball, and you go, oh, I got hit. And then you walk out and you fucking leave your life. That's the problem with today's age. This is why niggas are going to crash out. You need to feel that red ball smacking you in the fucking face. If that red ball doesn't smack you in the face, then what are we talking about here? Legitimately. And see, this is what is, it really annoys me. It really fucking irritates me because I look at man and I look at the precipice of what we came from. These dominant creatures, these guys who are jacked, these guys who ran around and hunted. We did all these crazy, beautiful things in life, built all these fucking magnificent structures, had wars, great stories and legends, and you just look at the average man. Like I'm telling you, I do TV mounting. I see people's homes. I come into people's houses. The average man today is a fucking pathetic loser. Even if he has a job, like the job is the only thing that keeps that man fucking going. Is that the fact that he gets a paycheck? That's his only value to society. Is that he shows up to a fucking dead end job that he doesn't want to be at. He gets a paycheck. He gets to go back home and live in his house. He's a fucking slave. The average human, we have new slaves in today's age, and these new slaves are nothing more than people that show up and get a nice little salary. And it's sad. It really is sad. And that's what I'm saying. That salary shit's about to end soon. If you don't have a business going for yourself, if you're not working on a skill set where you can actually be able to maintain yourself and grow and make some side money, be able to get rewarded for your efforts, you're fucked. You are fucked in the year 2027 because life is going to get much harder. And the government's not going to be able to bail you out. You know why the government's not going to be able to bail you out? Because the government is now ran by chicks. So the one thing that we once had in America was that we had the government. That you could believe in the government to be able to save you, to be able to fucking manage shit for you, to be able to make sure things are squared away. We have safety. It's no longer gone because you know why? We let chicks in the government. And if you look at the clock, I think women's suffrage was when? 19. I gotta look that up. When is women's suffrage? Women's suffrage was, let's see, when did it start? 1919, and it was ratified in 1920. So we're 80 years, no, past 80 years. We're 100 years into women's suffrage. So it took 100 years for women to fuck our fucking country up. 100 years, which sounds about right. 100 years is what? That's about 4 years of bitches. 25, just say like bitches at 25, because that's when bitches are most powerful. So we have 5 years of bitches at 25 years old looking like dime pieces that manipulated niggas. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we have 5 years of bitches saying you get no pussy unless I can be able to vote. And niggas folded. That's all it took was 5 generations. We were in America from when did America get fucking created? America was created. America was created in what? 1776. So we spent damn near, let's see, 1700 to 2000. We spent down there almost 400, 300, something around between 350 to 400 years building this country to what the fuck it was. And within less than a third of that time period, bitches came in and fucked the fucking country up. And why? Because you niggas is weak to pussy. Niggas are weak to pussy. This is the fundamental problem of the crash out. This is why the crash out is imminent, because niggas are too weak to pussy. And now pussy is getting harder to get. So now niggas are crashing out harder for pussy. I'm telling you, like, you look at the timeline. If you ever go to like Black Twitter, and Black Twitter is a great indication of where the country's headed, because Black people are way ahead of the curve on most things, both positive and negative. They're very ahead of the curve on fashion, music, pop culture, dancing, all that shit. Black people make all the fucking culture that we all like to fucking enjoy and watch. But the downside is Black people are also on the front end of all the fucked up shit. Single mamaism, game banging, rap music, all the fucking bad shit that's in the world. Black people are typically ahead of the facts on it. And so because of that, you can look at Black people almost like as the canary in the coal mine for what shit's going to be bad in the country. And so whenever I want to figure out what's going bad with the country, I just look to Black people, because I know in about 5 to 10 years, that's what's going to happen to white people, because white people are slow. They're slow. I hate to say it, they're slow. White people, they're because here's the thing, white people are very cautionary. White people are like rabbits, nigga. They're like white rabbits. They scope out shit. They look. All right, it's clear. We can go. Niggas are gone. And so white people, they don't adopt shit until it's already massively accepted. That's why we're in such deep shit in this country. Because the white man's worried to speak up, man. He's worried about losing his job. He's worried about bitches fucking snitching on him in his job. And so, like, he's worried about looking at as racist. Like, the worst thing a white man can be in this country is considered racist. That shit is like the fucking plague for white people. White people try to avoid that at all costs. If a white man finds out that he's going to be known as a racist, that nigga will start getting black friends. He'll start doing all types of wild shit. And so now what we have in this situation is the white man, who was the dominant force in this country, who was supposed to keep everything together, he has been scared. He's been scared by the white woman. The white woman's out here running wild, running reckless around the country. And because she's running reckless, the white man don't know what to do. So he only has 2 options. Get an Asian chick or just give up on the game. most white dudes, they get Asian chicks. That's why. But they don't understand the Asian woman's game. The Asian woman's game is to infiltrate this country, get a good white man with a good white job, and then divorce that nigga like 10 years in, take half his shit, then bring half her people over. And then they can start taking money, take his money, and then build wealth. Now, I'm telling you, man, people don't understand. I see the trends. I watch. I pay attention. Apex is really out here in the field, really watching shit, nigga. But nobody believes it. But anyway, yeah, that's my quick live. To avoid crashing out, the 3 things again. I'll give you guys just 3 things again, very simply. Avoid listening to the advice of other people. Trust your own instincts, trust your mind. And if you fuck up, just deal with the consequences of your own fuck up. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Number 2, avoid bitches. And don't ever listen to what a bitch tells you to do or do what she wants. Because if you do, she's going to crash you out the same way you're gonna. Women are natural crash out artists. So anything a woman tells you what to do, her natural instinct is to fuck shit up. She doesn't know that she's fucking shit up, but she just follows her emotions. Emotions always put humans in a bad position. That's why, man, we're given logic. We're given logic to be able to lead. And number 3, do something in life that has severe consequences for fuck ups. Whether it's running your own business, whether it's working in construction, whether it's fucking writing, I don't know. Just figure out something that gives you real fucking feedback. Because when you get real feedback, you learn where you stand, you understand what you're doing, and you don't suffer you suffer consequences, but you can learn from those consequences. Most people, they delay the consequences, and when they delay these consequences, they end up in bad positions because it's a compounding interest of fuck ups, and that's just like debt. You owe $100, and they're charging you 25% interest every week. You have $100 to pay it, but you refuse to pay it because you're dumb. You're crashing out. That 125. Next week it turns to 185. Then it turns to 210, and it keeps going over and over. And you look back a year later, now you're in a fucking shitty ass situation where you owe like $10,000 because you fucking didn't pay $100. If you just would have paid the $100 up front, you never have to worry about this. And that's really the way to have to crash out, man. Have consequences for your life reactions. Have people that hold you accountable. You'll be okay. That's how you avoid the crash out. Appreciate you guys for listening.